So, good morning, students. Welcome back to the lecture series on design of RCC structures and steel structures. Subject code 15CV72. We are in module 3, lecture number 13. Presented by Girish Chaligeri, Assistant Professor, KLS VDIT Halaya. In the last class, we have studied about the design of counterforts. In the yesterday's class, we have studied about the portal frames. A new chapter has been started, that is design of portal frames. Introduction to portal frames, the components of portal frames, the force acting on the portal frames, the method of designing of portal frames has been studied in the previous class yesterday's. Today's class, we are going to take one of the example and solve the portal frame so that it will be clear for you people how the portal frame can be analyzed. Yes, let us go to the problem here and note on the problem. A roof of 8-meter wide hall is supported on a portal frame. These frames are spaced at a distance of 4-meter intervals. The height of portal frame is 4 meters. The continuous slab is 120 mm thick. That is the slab thickness is given. The level load over the slab is 1.5 kilonewton per meter square. SBC of soil is given as 150 kilonewton per meter square. The columns are connected with a plinth beam and the base of the column may be assumed to be fixed. Design the slab, column, beam and suitable footing for the column of the portal frames. Adopted is M20 grade concrete and Fe415 steel. Need to prepare a detailed structural drawing. So whenever a problem is given, what we do, we first write down the given data so that it will come to know what is the next step, what to be found here. So we did the same here. Let us note down the points here, what given data. So given data we can see from the picture that the width of the hall is given as 8 meters. That is the span of portal frames. The spacing between the frames is given as 4 meters. Height of the frame is given as 4 meters. The slab thickness is given as 120 mm thick. The load over the roof is given as 1.5 kilonewton per meter square. The SBC of soil is given as 150 kilonewton per meter square. And we are adopting M20 grade concrete and Fe415 steel. The code books used for this design is IS 456 2000. SP 16 is being used here. So for detailing purpose, we are going to use SP 34 code book. Since from given data, let us make one drawing here. Look at the diagram here. A portal frame diagram has been shown here. This is a portal frame. You can see in the diagram. These are the columns. These are the beams connected with the frames. So this one full frame is called as a portal frame, where we get 2 columns and a beam. As the width of the beam is given as frame is given as 8 meters. This is a distance between these two is 8 meters given. Then the spacing between the frames are given as 4 meters. It is from this mid span to this, from this to this, from this to this. They have given it as a 4 meters. So in between beams, the slab is connected. Since it is 8 by 4, that is Ly is 8 meters, Lx is 4 meters. So Ly by Lx, we get more than 2 here, exactly 2 here. Definitely the slab is designed as a one-way slab. Since the diagram you can see it is continuous over the things, we will design a one-way continuous slab. And from the data, given data is that slab thickness is 120. So let us note down the things here. 120 thickness of slab is given. First calculate the moments, shear force. Yes, let us come with a design of slab here. So the thickness of slab is given already. It is 120. So the sulfate of slab will be 0.12 into 24, the density of concrete. We have taken as 24 for RCC. So 0.12 into 24, we get 2.88 kilonewton per meter square. 0.12 is in term of meters and 24 is in kilonewton per meter cube, that is density. So 1 meter get cancels, left with a unit of 2.88 kilonewton per meter square. Let us assume the weight of finish and the ceiling finish as 0.5 as the weight of roof finish and 0.25 as a ceiling finish. We are assuming both them. So the total dead load will be 2.88 plus 0.5 plus 0.25, that is 3.63 kilonewton per meter square. From the given question, the live load will be given as 1.5 kilonewton per meter cube. So 1.5 is written. The dead load is 3.63 and live load is 1.5. It is WD and this is WL. That is dead load and this is live load. Now from using IS 456, table number 12 and 13, we are having a formula for calculation of the movements. We can see here. Let us open IS 456 table so that it will be clear for you people. If you refer table number 12, what could be the given data here? One minute. Let us know which table they have taken here. They could have been mentioned here. They have not mentioned the table. Let us know it somewhere. I can know it. We have done it. Table number 2, grade of concrete. Table number 5, table number 6, table number 9, table number 10. Table number L1. Yeah, let us know the general load calculations there. I think we'll get the table here itself. Somewhere we may get here. Yes, we can see the from IS 456 2000 page number 49, we can see the table number 12 and 13. 12 are used to calculate the bending moment coefficients and 13 are used for the calculation of shear coefficients. We can see here there are two span moment and support moment. Support moments will be at the end of the slabs and span moment will be at the mid span. We need to calculate which one is there. So here we can see dead load and live load are separate here. Dead load and imposed load, that is fixed one. Imposed load, not fixed. So width formula should be taken here. For bending moment, we can see there near the middle end span, at middle of interior span, that is span moment we are getting. A panel which is at mid span, for that this low moment will be taken. A span which is at end one, mid span will be taken this one. So there are 4 options here for support moment also. Let us consider which is critical here. We can see here in table what we have taken. Dead load is dead load by 10 and level load by 9 here. We can see that is stable in for dead load. We are taking it as 1 by 10. That is at support next to the end moment. the support moment is 1 by 10 for dead load and 1 by 9 for imposed load. So this is taken from support moments. For span moment also we have 1 by 10. So let us consider 1 by 10 for dead load and 1 by 9 for live load. The same thing is taken here. W L square by 10, WD is dead load, L square by 9 is live load. So maximum service moment in interior supports we have taken a WL square by 10 and WL square by 9. W is somewhere it is 3.63 for dead load and 1.5 for live load. L is given that is 4 meters span between the member. We can see a smaller Lx is 4 meters. So substitute value of WD and WL into L, we get the bending moment is 8.9 kilonewton per meter. We factor that moment 1.5, we get 12.75 as the kilonewton per meter. We know that from SP16 or IS456 we can know that the MU limit will be 0.138 FCK BD square. So let us make this something superscript here. Instead of writing Q lim, we can write 0.138 star FCK star. It will be easy. This could be right. MU limit is equal to 0.138 FCK BD square. This is taken from SP16. So you know already, we know MU limit. MU limit is given as 12.75, what we have calculated. And 0.138 FCK, you know it is M20 grade concrete. And B, you know it is per meter. We want to know the depth here. Already we have given some depth. Let us know, already calculated, but let us substitute the value of D. The capital D is 120 mm given thickness and small d will be 100. Taking 15 as a cover and 0.5 mm as a steel of bar, half of. So let 20 be the covers total. So 100 will be the effective depth. Substituting value of 100, that is 2.76 into 1000 squared. We get the moment as 27.6, which is greater than 12.75. Hence, it is well within the limits. We can take like this. So next we want to find the area of steel here, MU by BD square. MU you know already, substitute value of MU and BD square we get to 1.275. Then from table 2 from SP16 we get the PT value as 0.384. What we have done in the last class we have seen it. From that we are going to get the AST. Once we got the PT value, so PT value is 0.384. We know that. Then AST is nothing but a 100 AST by BD equals to PT value here. So once you know the PT value, substitute the PT value and we get the AST. So AST is equal to PT into BD divided by 100. The same thing has done here. 1000 is B, D is 100 divided by 100. We get 384 as the area of steel required for the reinforcement. We are going to use 10 mm dia bars here. So once we use 10 mm bar, the area of bar is given 78.54 divided into 1 meter span divided by the whole area steel required. Though spacing will be 204. Let us provide 10 mm dia at 200 mm center to center as the main reinforcement for the slab on the shorter span. And longer span we are going to provide the distribution steel, and distribution steel will be provided a minimum here. So since we are designing a slab, the minimum reinforcement for slab is 0.12% of gross area. Gross area means we are taking 1 meter width and total depth here. The same thing is done here. So 0.12,000 into 120 the total depth divided by 100, we get the minimum area of steel required in distribution area, that is for longer span will be 144 mm square. Again we are going to use 8 mm dia bar here. Since we are using 8 mm dia bar, the area of bar into 1 meter span divided by the total area of the reinforcement required, we get spacing as 349. So let us provide 8 mm dia at 300 mm center to center. The main reinforcement is given, it is 10 at 200. We can see the distribution of steel given in the diagram. The same thing I can show in your AutoCAD drawing, how it will be. Let us do it. 120 thickness of slab is given. So this is a span of slab we are taking here. So this is a slab thickness, continuous beam. Here it is a support for this. Same cover will be there supporting at mid-span here. The last one span is there, and one is at mid-span. Now we are providing a main reinforcement at the bottom here. So main reinforcement at bottom will be with certain covers. So usually we think we are providing in this fashion. Sorry guys, we are not providing in this. And at certain distance, we know we need to provide the main reinforcement at the top also. To top we are providing like this, but entire top is not provided here. So what we make, at certain distance from this edge at a depth of D of slab, at this point the bar will be curtailed at a 45 degree and it will be made like this. Similarly, the same span will be made here also. And this span we are going to continue at this point. Similarly, in this fashion we are doing it. Yes. This is what the reinforcement are provided in this fashion. You can see here the same thing we have done here. Fine. Means this is a main bar. For this, the distribution bar will be provided in this fashion. Do not. Can provide the distribution bars in this fashion, which like this, the distribution bar are given here. So this is main bar. If you see the same thing in plan, I think you can take the same plan here. This is slab. The beams are provided in this fashion. I'll show how the reinforcement should be done here. So in this, the main bar on shorter span, and this is 8-meter span, I think. If this is 4 meters, this slab will be about 8 meters like this. So this is plan here. This is 8 meters, this is 4 meters. So what happens? The one bar will be, bottom bar will be continued like this. The next bar will be like this. It is curtailed here, somewhere it is curtailed, and we get it in this fashion. Once again, what we get the same bar here, like this. Again, the alternative will be the curtail bars. Like this. This is how we are providing, and the distributions bar are provided in this fashion from this end to this end. At the bottom, the distributions bars are provided. Like this. So these main bars are in red color. Let us make them as red. And this distributions in blue. Look at this. This red color indicates the main bars, and this list indicates distributions bar. This is what the reinforcement provided for the slab here. The same thing we have shown here. The slab reinforcement will be in this fashion. Once we complete the design of slab, for design of slab, I told how to calculate the moment here using IS 456 table number 12 and 13. 12 for bending moment coefficients and 13 for shear coefficients. We have come to know that both them and we are providing the steel here. Next, let us calculate the second step. We come with the preliminary design of beams and columns. As I told, the beam and the column will be sizes of will be fixed first depending upon the load pattern. As I told, the beam depth will be fixed on the span to depth ratio. For heavy loads, the span to depth ratio will be 12 to 15, and for light loads, the span to depth ratio will be 20 here. Since the span is 8 meters, let us take it as 12 to 15 here, since the load may be heavy here. So effective depth of based on criteria is 8,000. It is in terms of mm divided by 12 we are taking. So depth required for the beam will be 666 mm. So let us assume the overall depth provided for the beam will be 700. That is effective depth will be 650 here. 700 is the total depth for beam. Minus of cover will be about 40 plus the thickness of slab will be there. So 650 will be the effective depth for beam, and width of the beam is fixed as per the column here. So let us, before giving the width of beam here, let us select the column section here. So for column section, we are selecting the size of 400 by 600. Since width is 400 of width is for column and 600 is length, so width of column will be equals to the width of beam here. So beam we are giving depth as 700, and let's assume width of beam as 400 here. So beam size will be 400 by 700, where 400 is width and depth is 700. Similarly, the column section will be 400 by 600. So width of beam will be equals to width of column here. Once we finalize the depth of the sizes of beams and columns, let us analyze the beam here. So from the diagram, you know that the dead load and load from the slab size 3.63 is a dead load and level load is 1.5, and the span between the each frame is 4 meters. So total load and the beams will be dead load plus live load, that is 3.63 plus 1.5, that is 5.13 into 4, that is spacing between the frames. So the total load over the slab will be 20.52 kilonewton per meter, that is acting as a UDL over the entire span of the beam. Then the sulfate of the beam, we know already beam size given as 400 by 700. In that 700, the overall thickness 120 thickness of slab should be deducted because it is included in the slab. So 700 minus 120 left with the 580 mm is a depth of beam. So 580 into 400 into density of concrete 25, we get the sulfate of the rib of the beam, which will be 5.56 kilonewton per meter. Here 0.4 and 0.5 taken, it is taken in terms of meters here. So the total load acting over the beam including sulfate will be 27 kilonewton per meter, which is round of 27 we have taken. So we can see here, I have shown the beam here. The 27 is the entire load including sulfate of the beam. So frame is shown here. It is fixed at both ends. The height of the frame is 4 meter, width is 8 meters, the UDL is 27. Now once we get the frame in this fashion, now you need to analyze though. You need to find the bending moment for this. So which method you are going to use? Whether you are going to use slope deflection method, whether moment distribution method, whether it is Carney's method, any of the method which you have analyzed in analysis of indeterminate structures. Therefore, all the methods, we have taken 5 methods to analyze this, whether continuous or frames. So in that 5 methods, select any one of the method and analyze it and draw the SFD BMD for the columns and beams. Here we calculate the shear force diagram as well as bending moment diagram for both columns and beams. Already slab is designed, so we need to design beam and column. So we need to know the bending moment diagram for this. So from this diagram you are going to analyze it. So let us analyze by using moment distribution method. So moment distribution method means I need to know the stiffness of the beam as well as stiffness of the column. So stiffness means I by E. 4 E by L is the stiffness of beam. So here the I value of member AB is BD cube by 12. We know that is Z here. I BD cube means B into D cube by 12 means I am M raised to 4 it will be. So the value we are getting for this is, you can see here, 1 minute. So the I value for member column AB will be BD cube by 12 here. B is 400, depth is 600. So BD cube by 12 we get 72 into 10 raised to 8 mm raised to 4 here. That is unit. And similarly, the I value of beam is given as 400 into 700 cube divided by 12. We get 114.33 into 10 raised to 6. I want to find the rotation factors, the stiffness factors, that is distribution factor at each end. So the stiffness factor for member column EB is K is equal to I by L, because E is constant, 4 is constant. Let us take I by L equals to, for column AB is I is already 72.10 raised to 8 divided by L, that is length is 4000. So 12 into 10 raised to 72 into 10 raised to 8 divided by 4000, we get 18 into 10 raised to 5 as the K value for column. Similarly, K value for the beam will be, again we are making it IBC by LBC. What is IBC? IBC is 114 into 10 raised to 8 divided by the length between the beam is 8 meters. So 114 into 0.33 into 10 raised to 8 divided by 8000. It is in term of mm you are writing. 8000, we get the answer is 14.3 into 10 raised to 5. That is mm raised to 3. So distribution factor for column and distribution factor for beam, distribution for column is individual stiffness divided by summation of stiffness. So individual stiffness is 18 to 10 raised to 5, and the combined is 18 plus 14.3 into 10 raised to 5. That will be the combined stiffness. So the stiffness, the distribution factors we got at joint B for column B is 0.55, and for column C we are getting it as 0.45 for beam, and for column it is 0.55. So this is what the distribution factor we got. Once we got the distribution factor, first find the fixed end movements. Since the column is not having any movements, the movements in the columns are zero. Whether it is a MAB or MBA something, it is zero. Only left with the beam is having a load that is 27 kilonewton per meter UDL or the entire span. So the end movements for the member BC and CB will be WL square by 12. Substituting value of W is 27, L is 28 square divided by 12. The end moments we get for members is 144 minus at BC point and plus at CB point. So here we have drawn the moment distribution table here. Just recollect the things what you have learned in the analysis of indeterminate structures, that is moment distribution method. Whichever is easy, you go with that method, because the answers last we get is same whether we into any of the method. But here I am going with the moment distribution method, which is quite easy, which can be remembered easily. So first we found the stiffness of individual members, and we found the distribution factor for a joint where we connected with the beam and column. So for beam we got the stiffness, the distribution factor as 0.45. For column we got 0.55. So the table has been formed here. So table already, joint, members, distribution factors, FEM. This is written first. So A, B, C, D is a joint. A and D are fixed here. Only B and C is get the rotation factors here. So members here written BAB, BA. As per that, the distribution factors are written. At B joint, we have two members, BA and BC. The distribution factors for column is 0.55, and for BC it is 0.45. The vice versa will be there for the joint C. For beam it is 0.45, and for column it is 0.55. Next we are going to substitute the value of fixed end movement at beam is minus 144 for member BC, and for CB it is plus 144. 1 minute, students. Yes, students, welcome back. We are analyzing the beam here. So for beam, we are using moment distribution method. We can see here moment distribution method. This after getting this first point is to balance the things. We can see we are balancing here. So multiply this unbalanced moment 144 with the factors, that is 0.55 and 0.45. We get moment as a 64.8 at BC, and at BA we get 79.2. Since unbalanced movement is negative, the both the balanced movement will be positive here. So positive movement as we balanced here, same thing will be for C joint. After that, the next step will be a carryover movement. Half of this will be transferred to the next joint connected with that member, and if that member is of roller support or hinged support, the moment cannot be transferred. If it is fixed, and then only the moment will be transferred. That you should remember. Recollect some of the things from fifth semester what you have learned. So the process of carryovering, half of this is transferred here, half of this is transferred here, and half this here. And here that when we distribute the moment for joint C, the unbalanced moment was positive 144. So to balance, we should substitute the negative moments here in the joints. So CB is having minus 64.8 and CD is having minus 79.2. So half of this is minus 39.6 is transferred to D, and half of this minus 64.8, half of this is minus 32 point joint is for C joint. So once we carry over the moment, then check the joints whether they are balanced or not. If not, you need to rebalance the joints here. So the same procedure what we have done in the previous, we are doing that. So we can see again we are balancing it. Again we are balancing means the one step is gone here. 34 is unbalanced. So minus 32.4 into 0.45 minus 32.4 into 0.55, we get 17.82 at a BA point and 14.58 at BC point. Since it is a negative movement, the balanced movement both will be a positive one here. So we did that. Similarly, for the C joint also we are doing the same thing. 32.4 is a movement that is positive. So unbalanced is positive here. So negative movement the collected at C joint will be minus 14.58 and minus 17.82. So this procedure continues, that is carryover movement balancing, and the same procedure continues until and unless the last movement which is near to that will be done. We'll conclude the things. Then we are going to add the movement at this point. Finally, we got the movement here. We can see here at joint A for member AB, we got the movement as plus 51 kilonewton meter. And at B joint for member BA, we have got 102. Minus 102 for BC joint, plus 102 for CB joint, and minus 102 for CD joint. We can see the diagram is drawn like this. Bend moment diagram, we can clearly see the bend moment diagram. At A joint, it is plus. We are going to draw the bend moment diagram. You know already, we have drawn it in the previous classes, and you know already learnt in the your junior classes. After analyzing by using moment distribution, we are going to draw the bend moment diagram here. So we can see the moment at footing level is plus 51, and at the column top at the head will be 102. Similarly, the beams having two type of moments here. 102 at the end span moments, and 216 we have got at the mid span. 216 how we got, that is nothing but a calculation of the bending moment at mid span. For mid span, the bending moment will be calculated by using formula WL square by 8. While W is 27, L is 8 here, WL square by 8, 8 get cancelled, so 27 into 8, we get 216. It is a bending moment at mid span. But in here, the total depth is 216. In that, you should deduct 102, and remaining will be the mid span moment. That is 216 minus 102, left with 114 here. So 114, that should be factor further. We are going to factor it, and we can see after drawing the bending moment diagram, the end moments for beam is 102, and mid span moment is 114. For columns, the top moment will be 102 and the bottom at the footing level movement will be 51. This is regarding the movements I am telling. What about the shear force? When we design a column, we need to know the vertical force. The vertical force should be known as the UDL from the beam is 27 and into span 8. So WL by 2 will be the vertical forces at column point that we can see in the next here. So before going to that, finalize the movement here. 102 is movement at column end. At footing end, it is 51. End moments for column beam is 102, that is factored. 153 is the moment at end moment. And no, end moment also, as well as the column movement factored is 153. And 76 is a factor moment for footing. We can know that midspan value, as I told, it is WL square by 8. What we have found in the diagram, that is minus of 102, we get 114 as the midspan movement. So the designed midspan movement will be factored by 1.5. We got 171 as the midspan movement for beam, and end movement for beam will be 153. For column, the movement will be 153, and for footing, the movement will be 76.5. All these are factors. Now coming to the shear force at B and C, as told when we design for column, that is WL by 2. So W is 27, L is 8, divided by 2 is nothing but you multiply 0.5. We get 108 as the shear force at the junction at B and C. Multiplied by 1.5, we get factor of 162 is the load over the column, for which we need to consider when we design the columns. This is what we have learned in the today's class, how the portal frames are designed. So portal frames slab was designed. Since knowing the dimensions, the slab we got is one-way slab, and since it was continuous using IS course, we went with the design of slab as one-way continuous slab. Then we designed the beams. Beams we got, and how the beam should be designed. The load from the slab will be supplied to the beams. From beams, we are going to design, we are analyzing the frame there by using any one of the methods. And after getting the drawing of a bending moment diagram and shear force diagram, the moments at each joints are being collected. Once we got this bending moment diagram, we can design the further things. So let us conclude today's class here only. So it is little bit conclusion. Once you go through the notes, it will be easy for you people to understand how to calculate how to analyze the frame. So as I discussed in the earlier class, the syllabus for your second IA will be a combined footing as well as the retaining walls. I think you have not submitted the assignments. Hope you need to submit the assignment soon as possible within the IA period, so that they are considered for your final IMRs. Okay, and the question for IMRs was the assignment was given earlier only through the group, and also it has been furnished, uploaded in the Teams also. So in Teams, go to the files, we get the question of questionnaire of that assignments. Fine. So today we are concluding the class, and also you have told the syllabus for the second IA. So thank you for patiently listening.